Man, have have a ton of respect for Coach Dawkins and this program and this team that he put together this year, and again to have no returners and brand new team, put that team together and have them in the position that they're in right now is to be commended. And we had a lot of respect for them. Our guys had a ton of respect for them going into this game. Fulks is an incredible player, puts so much pressure on you, does such a good job of finding his teammates, and just puts a ton of pressure on you. And thought we were obviously fortunate to get out of here with a win tonight. So fire away with questions.
Coach, start off hot in the second half, get up to a 14-point lead. Kind of what was the discussion like at that under 12 timeout or whatever it was, and what enabled the actual comeback?
Yeah, it was, we're going to have to play with a lot more urgency on the defensive end of the floor. We don't have to, this group's been in these positions before, and typically we do a good job of not panicking. And it was just like, hey, we don't have to panic on offense, but our level of urgency and desperation on the defensive end of the floor is going to have to pick up right this second. And we just talked about hey, let's try to have it maybe to 7 or 6 in the by the under 8 median. I think we actually got it to 3 by then, and then you're in a possession game. But I just thought the level of urgency and desperation and physicality on both ends of the floor. We started making some tough plays around the rim. Up until that point, I thought we were fairly soft, and they have great length, obviously. So if you're going to go in there and flip balls, and it's not going to work out well for you. And we finally kind of played with some physicality and just a sense of urgency.
Coach, you mentioned it was a hard-fought game, but what stands out is you guys had just 4 assists and shot pretty much poorly until the end of the game. How did you guys battle through that adversity?
Yeah, it's a resilient group. Unfortunately and fortunately, I guess we found ourselves in these situations quite often. I think in our 7 league wins, we've trailed in the second half of every game that we've won. They're a mature group. They don't have a lot of panic, and they actually are bought in and believe that we can find ways to win the game in different ways. And they do such a good job of, because of bowl and their length, they really don't have to collapse much on you because they can kind of stay connected to your shooters and kind of force you into one-on-one plays. And down the stretch, we were just able to make some tough shots.
And what were you most impressed about on that 5-minute stretch by your team?
Yeah, just their competitive spirit, and they're a very connected group to each other. And sometimes you get in these games and it can be difficult, in particular for some of our Brennan Laurie's from Florida, Jasper's from Florida. They've been in these games before last year in the American. We played at South Florida and Florida Atlantic. So they had done this before, but not quite at this level. And sometimes you can go into these games and you want to play good. You want to play good. And usually when that happens, you don't play good. It's weird. You're going out there and man, I really want to play good. And then you finally get to a point where you're just trying to win and not get ran out of a building. And then you just start competing. And then you start making the plays that you were trying to make in the very beginning, but it's a different heart and a different mindset.
Coach, when did you notice the switch being flipped for your team in the second half there? When did you kind of see the momentum start to shift?
Yeah, I thought it started with, there was a lot of little plays. I thought, Lorient made some really tough physical plays around the basket, and then we were able to get some stops, and then Honor on the 4-point play, and then he kind of starts get going a little bit, and then you're mirroring it with we're getting stops and we're getting baskets, and we're giving them one shot only. I don't know what the final rebound it ended up being, but yeah, in that stretch, you were able to stop them and grab the rebounds.
You talked on Venus Folks earlier. In the first half, you held him to 0 points off of 2 shot attempts, and in the second half, he ended up being the team's leading scorer. What was the difference in his game, and what did you study up on him before this one?
Yeah, man, he's a great player, so you never fully count on taking a great player out of a game for the length of the game. You just got to try to make it hard on them. And he was able to get out and transition a little bit. We turned the ball over to start the second half, and he's elite in those scenarios. And he was able to get in the paint, and we got a little spread out. And you've got to really do a good job of, you know, and that's the challenge with him, because it really kind of takes 5 people to guard him. But if you commit to that and you don't rotate and fan out, well, then he starts finding people. And I thought Harlan, the combination of Jasper and Harlan's size and physicality, early in the half, I felt we were just letting him go wherever he wanted to go. Late down the stretch, we tried to box him in a little bit more and keep him going one direction, and those guys executed. And Harlan did a really good job of being in the window, and then a couple times he tried to throw lobs, and Harlan was able to get back and disrupt the play.
Kind of on that point, how vital was the defense putting pressure on him, kind of boxing him, like you said, and creating some of those turnovers to kind of spark the offense?
Yeah, I mean, he's, again, you know, I have as much respect, and I have a ton of respect for everybody in this league, and there's so many great players, but I've kind of said it before the game and leading up to this game. He's been as impactful for his team as any player in our league. And obviously those freshmen, rightfully so, man, they're incredible. But his impact on this team and his ability to control and manage a game, and then even some of the shots he made down the stretch, I mean, those were very difficult shots that we defended great. And so it's really got to be a team effort to guard a player like that.
Coach, Honor Huff, of course, from 0 for 8 against Texas Tech to 21 points here in Orlando. I mean, how important a catalyst was he in your wins today?
Yeah, I mean, we need Honor to play good, and if you're going to come on the road and beat a, you know, an NCAA tournament team on the floor, like, your best player's got to play well. And you know, he puts a lot of pressure on himself, and you know, so to see him come through like he's done so many times for us in a big moment on the road, it was awesome to see.
Coach,
The West Virginia fans made themselves felt in the building tonight. How much did that play in you guys pulling it?
Yeah, it was incredible. You know, it was incredible, and that's what makes, again, I'm biased because I'm the head coach here, but it really is one of the best fan bases in the country, you know, and their support and their passion, and you know, Tony Caridi's our radio guy, and he always says it. He's like, hey, man, we show up, you know, and they did, and it was, it's always good. It's always nice when you can reward your fan base for showing up like they do. And we don't always get to do it. Sometimes we come up a little short, but they hang in there with us. And yeah, I mean, it was, you know, 70-30, probably 65-35, you know, UCF to West Virginia, but on the road, it was awesome.
Coach, you just put into words what this win means to your team to come on the road in the Big 12 and beat a team you were tied with in the league standings. And I know you guys are looking to make a big stretch run here at the end. How big was it to come on the road and get this one?
Yeah, I mean, it was big for all the reasons you mentioned, and then primarily, and you don't want to just go like straight coach speak, but you kind of have to in this league when there's so many challenges in this league, like, and you've put yourself in position to do things, then every game becomes monster game, you know, and for them having only lost twice in here to Vanderbilt and Arizona, you knew it was going to be a challenge, and so, yeah, you know, and now what you got to do is now, you know, Wednesday night against Utah, that then now becomes the biggest game that you've been a part of, because you certainly don't want to give this one back.
How does this win build confidence for you going forward?
Yeah, you know, again, our group has a lot of belief. They're experienced, they're mature, they believe in each other, and you know, like I said, it's not ideal situations to continually put yourself in, but this is our not third straight because we lost at Arizona. This is our third road win, and 2 of those we were down 14 in the second half. We were down at Cincinnati 14. This one we were down 14, and I think at Arizona State we were down earlier. So there's a lot of belief and a lot of confidence in the group, but you know, just again, like, proud of the response, you know, and I'm very thankful. I told the team in the locker room, I'm thankful that they allow me to coach them hard and direct, and they allow me to tell them the truth. And sometimes they may not always like the way it's being said or what's being said, but they respect it, and that I appreciate them for that.
What
Coach, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Well,
Thank you,
one more-
Coach.
yeah, one more miss.
What did you notice, because UCF ended up outscoring you in the fast break 16-8, just what did you end up noticing there, and is there anything else from this game that you want your team to take with you going forward and improve on?
Yeah, you just they're again. It starts with folks, man. They're so good in transition. They have so many good athletes, and if your transition defense isn't like razor sharp, and a lot of those were off our turnovers, and so you turn the ball over, and now they're got a full head of steam with one of the best point guards in the country, and they can really hurt you in that manner.
Thank you,
everyone.
Coach.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck.